Okay, so if you're a student like me, you're probably wondering, sea level rise, what's really sea level rise, what's causing it, who's to blame? There's so many questions around this topic. And one thing that is to blame is for the greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere by big factories and cars and whatnot. And another thing is due to the increase in temperatures into the atmosphere. Another thing could also be calving, which is just another definition for really huge ice chunks falling into the sea, causing the rise in sea levels. Well, there might be a couple of solutions to this. We also still need to consider a few other factors. Some of these factors could be maybe creating more problems or trying to solve another, the cost, the expenses. There's just a lot of factors that need to go into this before we can just come up with a solution. So, well, you're lucky. Today we have a lot of notes that we're going to go through, and we're going to debrief you about ways that we can possibly take care of this problem and try to suppress the problem as much as possible. So stay tuned in. Okay, so why is this a problem? This is a problem because it causes loss of land along coastal shorelines and causing people to have to move and relocate and rebuild their homes, and nobody wants to do that. Another thing is that it causes loss of life, and it also causes flooding, frequent flooding. And okay, another thing we should potentially consider is the economical impact this is going to have in our society. You know, a lot of money is going into building walls and raising islands and relocating people, which a lot of this money could be invested in more rich and more influential areas of our society.
Oh, that sounds good. Tell me more.
You know, a very good example of this is building a wall next to a water body. You know, it might seem that, you know, the wall is actually protecting us from flooding, but in reality, the wall is actually destroying our lands. It's causing a lot of soil erosion, and those lands cannot be used for anything. They're just going to be unproductive. So we really have to put these things into consideration when we're thinking about coming up with a solution that's going to work best for everyone. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, what are some of the things, or are there any things we've actually done to try and combat this problem, or are there any rules being put in place? So lucky for you, the rules that have been put in place to try and combat this. One of the things is the state of Virginia, for example, has put a law in place whereby someone cannot build a wall, a seawall, unless it's last resort. Another thing we've also tried doing is relocating people into new homes and whatnot. And there's this major debatable topic of what drawbacks do we really have to critically consider before putting this in place. That includes funding, for example. Where is all the money going to come from? You know, is all the money just all of a sudden going to appear mysteriously? Nope, the money is going to have to come from somewhere. So we have to really put that into consideration, and how much the taxes are going to go up higher. We really have to put a lot of things into consideration. Another thing is considering consequences. We need to know, by trying to solve this problem, are we creating more problems? You know, this is a major debate in, for example, California, whereby they're now trying to see which is more prioritized. Is saving people and their properties more prioritized than saving sea life, for example? So we have to make sure that by trying to maybe build walls to put in place, we are not actively killing sea life and all the habitation that is found on our sea shorelines as a result. So it's a major debatable topic, but there are a few things that we can possibly do and try and combat this problem as a whole community. So if you're wondering, is there something I can possibly do as an individual to try and combat this, well, you're in luck, because there is something you can actually do as an individual to try and combat this. And some of the things we can possibly do includes some of the cars we drive. You can possibly get a hybrid car. You can get an all-electric car. This helps reduce the carbon emissions in our environment, and it helps lower sea levels rise. You know, for example, if you own, let's say, like a Prius, for example, it has solar panels at the top. It's also hybrid, and this just reduces the amount of carbon emissions released into the environment, which later on goes on and reduces the amount of sea level rise. So you as an individual can do something, and some of these things include maybe just driving a hybrid car or driving an all-electric car. So thank you so much for listening to our little educational video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.